Hello? Are we live? I think we're live. Excellent. Here we are. We're about a minute early, so we'll get some more people logged in, tuned in. Welcome to everyone. My name is Chris, and of course we're here with Artist Palette Durham Region. And here we are for the free event, Ride Home from the Patch. It is an acrylic painting. I'll be demonstrating on a canvas today. We will go through the supplies in a moment. Let's see if we can't get a few more people logged in, tuned in. There's still time if you want to go grab yourself a drink or a little snack or something. And even though we're on a live feed, you are able to pause, rewind. It's fabulous what you can do. So let's say I go through the supplies and you've forgotten something. Just hit pause, go run and grab it, and then come right back and rejoin us. It's awesome, these live streams. All right, what time is it? It is 6:30. Yeah, I'll kind of slowly go over the supplies, and even if people join a little bit late, they could just set the playback right back to the beginning and catch all the action. Okay, let's look at the chat for a second here. Oh, I put in the chat, I mentioned get a big plate or a pot lid, and that'll help you trace a big circle for the bicycle tire. But you don't have to do that like right this second. There's going to be some drying time later, and that might be a perfect time to go grab a plate or pot lid or bowl, big bowl. What else is round that's nearby? Even a compass, to actually draw a circle. Some people might have that. Okay, let's get started with supplies. We are doing an acrylic painting, so I have acrylic paint. So let's have a little look here. This is my very fancy palette. I just like using styrofoam containers, plastic containers. Yeah, nothing actually that's actually a palette. I like to contain my paint. So I have my 5 standard colors here: white and black, blue, yellow, red. So I always have these 5 in my house. And with those 5, you can paint any of the Artist Palette Durham Region tutorials. Black and white again, and then your primaries: blue, yellow, red. You just need like a smidge of blue to make some green. Really, that's way too much blue. A quarter of that would have been fine. A little smidge of blue for the leaves. And that's what I'm going to use, acrylic paint. I have a cup of water, just a junky cup to rinse my brushes in. I have some brushes. You don't have to have the same brushes that I do. You can have different brushes. Let's show you a little closer. Focus on me. So I've got this kind of big, maybe like a 3/4 inch or an inch. I've got maybe that's 1/2 inch, and then like a little thin guy. So like a big, a medium, and a small. You could be using round brushes, maybe a filbert brush, maybe for your big one. One of those foam brushes, like on a little wooden handle, that would work too. Just something big to cover a lot of area for the background is what you need. So that's what I have. You don't have to have the exact ones. Dollar store. I'm pretty sure this one's from the dollar store. That's fine. Doesn't have to be like a fancy, expensive brush. I've got my rag. So I'm going to wash my brush and dry my brush. Paper towel would be fine too. Optional supply. I do have a pencil handy. You don't need a pencil. I'm going to do my sketch in paint later on. But if you'd prefer to do your sketch with a pencil, have a little pencil handy. What else do I have? I do have easels, but you don't have to have your painting on an easel. Just for demonstration, it's much easier when it's upright. But when I'm painting by myself, I put my painting right on the table, flat, so it's more like sturdy. This is gonna shake around. Of course, we will need some kind of surface to paint on. I've got a canvas. Mine's quite big, 16 by 20 or 20 by 16. It doesn't have to be that big. It could be a nice, maybe like a 10 by 12 would be lovely. Maybe you're going to fit this onto a square. You could make this work on a square. It doesn't have to be a rectangle. You could paint your painting on a lovely, there are pads of paper for oils and acrylic paintings. You could do it on a pad of paper, on a rock, on a piece of wood, masonite, anything you want to do your painting on. And then I've got an apron on to protect my clothes. I've got a bed sheet or a tablecloth to protect my table. And that's really all the supplies. Oh, and then I mentioned a big pot lid or big plate or bowl to help me trace my circle. Something big and circular. Let's say literally nothing around you is a circle shape. You can just eyeball it, just wing it, because even this circle isn't a perfect circle. It's kind of wiggly, a little wobbly. So that's the supplies. If you need to go grab something, go grab it. Let me look at the chat and see if questions came up. Let me know in the chat maybe where you're from, or maybe maybe this is your first painting, or your first painting with me, or maybe, yeah, let me know anything. Maybe it's your birthday. Let me know. Let's have a little look. Debbie says that she's not good at this. Just you wait and see, Debbie. How do you give her a tip? Well, I have in the description below a tip link, and we could talk about that at the end, but right in the description is a tip link. Meg's first time painting on a canvas. Hello, Mark. Hi, Jared. Hello to Stella. Ice cube tray. I like that idea. So instead of something like this, ice cube tray, I like it. Contains each color. I do wet my brushes, Robin. Yes. Yeah. Some people like to just wet it a little. And I'll often add a little water to my paint as we go. You'll see. Hello to Leanne. All right. Yeah, if you have any questions along the way, just type it in the chat there. We are going to do the background first. Let's pop this over here. Let's move this a little bit. Try to get them both, get some light going. Okay, that's pretty good. We're going to do our background first. Let's have a little closer look. Very glossy. I use this background a lot in a lot of my paintings. Kind of crisscrossy, visible brush strokes. In this case, very kind of pastel-y light colors. All of my brush strokes are going to be either at a diagonal this way or a diagonal this way. And we're just going to leave a lot of visible brush strokes, and they're very subtle. There's oranges, there's yellows, there's a bit of red, but you can change the colors to literally any color that you want. So maybe go for more blues and teals and greens, and that would stand out against the orange pumpkin and the yellow bike, make it pop. The yellow bike doesn't have to be yellow. Red bike, blue bike. Maybe you have metallic paint at home. Silver, gold bike, absolutely. The pumpkin, does it have to be a pumpkin? Not really. You could put a gourd there. You could put a cat, like literally anything. You can change up this tutorial to the season that you're in. What if you want to do a beautiful, what's a springy thing? A rabbit. It's springtime, a rabbit, some flowers, make it a spring painting. Summer, a beach ball. Going to the beach. Beach bag, beach umbrella, beach ball. Winter, maybe you're not biking so much in the winter, but yeah, you could do a winter version of this. So the background, any colors, anywhere, it doesn't matter. Make it match your current decor, your favorite color, the color of your bedroom or your friend's bedroom, or the color of your front door. Maybe you want to put this on your front door. So I've got my big brush. We're going to cover the whole area. So get a big brush for that, maybe even bigger. I do get it wet, as we were talking about before. I am going to get white first. It sounds weird to paint white on white, but that's what we're going to do. Big old gob of white. Oh yeah, with a little water on the brush. It makes it more spreadable, fluid, oh, chunky. I got some chunkies in there. That's okay. We'll cover up those chunkies. Look at that big chunky. Well, get out of here, you chunky. I was at the bottom of the bottle of my paint. So I've got some white on my brush. I've got some water. I can even dunk in the water once in a while. And let's see if there we go, the glare of the light. I'm applying it messily. It doesn't have to be every inch. And I'm sometimes going this way, sometimes I'm going this way. I mean, beginning stages, I can just go like this if I wanted to. We're just in the beginning stages. We haven't gotten to the kind of crisscrossy part just yet. We just want to slap some paint on here. This white will still be a little wet as we start applying, say, yellow, say, orange. And it'll help make it like a little bit softer, pastel-y. That's what we're going for. Subtle in the background so that the actual subject pops. Let's just slap it around. We're warming up our painting muscles. A little more white, get a little more water. Water and white. Slap it around. Maybe you have a smaller canvas than I. Maybe you're already fully covered. Maybe you have a bigger canvas. Maybe you'll have to take longer than me. Slap it around. What we don't want is like thick globby paint, right? I do have some little globby dry bits, but that's a different story altogether. So if you have like a, like gob of white, like blobbed on there, just spread it out. Just smooth it out. There we go. Okay, let's look at see the shine of the glare. It's not fully white. That's okay. We just wanted to get something started. Nadine, yes, we are using acrylics today. There we go. I thought acrylics was in the title. I think it was. There's some white. Now I'm going to go with yellow next, but if you prefer maybe a light blue, light green, whatever color you want, I'm thinking yellow. I don't even need to wash my brush. Don't even need to wash it. I'm going to get a little yellow. I'm going to mix it with some white. I want kind of subdued colors here, yellow and white. Here's some yellow, here's some white. Maybe a little water. Yeah, it's not crazy bright. That's a nice color, yellow. Yours could be richer than mine. And I'm going to do, a bit here, crissy-crossy. Make an X, make another X. Here and there. You could have more of a plan than I have. So I'm kind of doing it kind of all over. What if you want to have more yellow focus here, orange into pink, into red, and have kind of a sunset look? So just do all your yellows at the top as an option. Or maybe, I've done this in the past, kind of a yellow quadrant, orange quadrant, green quadrant, whatever. Any plan that you have is allowed, encouraged. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. Some of my yellow brush strokes are kind of wispy, barely any paint. Yeah, I kind of just go until my paintbrush runs out. See, it's like pretty much ran out. Nothing's really happening. Now I'll get some more paint. There's the white underneath. It's kind of blending with my yellow, making it a little bit lighter. That's good. Okay. So yeah, I've got yellow kind of all over. You could have less, you could have more. So we do have to kind of move quickly into the next color because we want them to still be wet. But if you're still on yellow, just keep going. And then you're going to go into the next color, next color. And you can hit pause anytime too. So I still have my bit of light yellow here. I want to make a lovely, very light orange. Get a little bit of red. Little. Red is very potent. Mix it in there with my yellow. It's very like a pale orange, like a peachy. It's got white mixed into it, so it's a very pastel-y orange. Look at that. And again, if you want yours to be a little darker, be a little lighter than mine, that's fine. A little bit orangey. Give it a little test, see if you like the color. That's quite nice, I think. And put it, you know, in some of the blank spots. You could overlap some of the yellow. Even in the very end, if you have some white spots still showing, that's fine. Not every single inch or centimeter has to be completely filled with some kind of color. Wispier areas, wispy kind of canvas texture is okay if you have that little bumpy, wispy effect. Darker areas, thicker areas. But on the whole, very thin, very light application. We want this to dry pretty quickly. So if you do find you have like a glob, like a fat glob, just spread it out. Spread out any thick globby bits. A little bit of water once in a while. And after this tutorial is finished, it'll be posted on our page forever. So you can come back and do this, you know, in the spring, make something different on the bicycle. Summer, come again next fall and do a black cat. That could be cute. Okay, there's some orange kind of here and there. It's nice. Orange. Good. And again, we have to go right into another color so we can get kind of the wet kind of bleeding into each other, streaking into each other. I'm going to go for like a reddish pinkish. It could be just red. Water. A little bit more red here. I'm just going to mix more red into that orange that I had. There's still a little orange in it. Little white gets mixed in here. So it does look kind of pinky. It could be more salmon-y. Grab a little yellow. Make it a little more salmon-like. Maybe a little more white. Really any color. And that's kind of nice. Kind of a peachy. Little test here and there. Yeah, I like that. So there's definitely a lot of white in there, a little red, a little bit of yellow. That little yellow kind of peachifies it. Again, you could go on top of some of your existing colors or next to, start filling white gaps, any white gaps. Fill those in a little bit. Also, don't worry if on the whole yours is looking quite dark compared to mine. We are going to add white on top. It sounds weird. It started white. We put white on it. We put colors. We are going to re-put on some white. So even if you have like a really like dense, dark, like way too dark, way too dense area, we're going to soften it. White. It's beautiful. This background is very forgiving. You can't really mess it up. Wispy bits. Get right down to your like bottom, get right down to the edges. And speaking of the edges, if you do want to paint like the edge, this side here, you can throw some of these colors on the side. I generally don't. Mine, yeah, this one doesn't have any paint on the edge. To each their own. Okay, some peachy stuff going on here. Pardon me. Where's my water? Okay, I like that. So far we have 4 colors. We've got the white, the yellow, the orange, the kind of salmon pinky color. I want you to do one more color, minimum. Your choice. Do you want to add maybe a richer red, a richer orange, maybe a light brown? What else would look really nice? Anything that you want to do. I want you to choose one more color to add to your painting. Your choice. I'm going to add maybe more of a reddy red. I'm just going to add and get a little more red. Add it to what I was using. But you do you. If you want to do more of a like a this orange, like a richer orange. Let me just use this color sparingly. I don't want it to go too dark. And yeah, I'm kind of targeting my last remaining white patches. A little water once in a while. But again, if there's little white patches left after this color even, it's fine. It's fine. If you want to do another color, a 6th color, a 7th color, do all of the above. Get some brown involved, a little splash of green. Okay. Over here. It's messy. It's got all these kind of streaky, textured from the actual canvas texture itself. Wispy bits, thicker, darker bits. I'm happy with that. I am going to wash my brush. So far, I've just been kind of adding color upon color on my brush, using the old color with the next color. I will wash it this time. A little wash, a little wipe. Everything's still quite thin. If you have thick globbies, just kind of brush them flat with your kind of empty brush. Brush it flat. But we are going to add some white next. Let's have a look at the chat here. Rhonda's traveling. That's fun to do when you're traveling. Tune in. This is Tammy's first time. That's awesome. With your sister and daughter-in-law. That's amazing. I love multi-generations joining in, and then seeing the comparison, especially if it's like grandparent, parent, child. Love that. I love when like there's all different kids of many ages, like a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. That's the best. The 3-year-old's just blah, blah, blah. Okay. So my brush is, pretty clean. If there's like a little bit of these colors still in it, that's fine, because we're just going to end up getting some of the colors on our brush anyway. White, a little bit of white. I kind of wipe it on the edge a little bit, or you can wipe it on your rag a little bit, just so it's not like a globby glob of white. And then anywhere that needs softening, put a little white. So maybe like this is kind of a thick bit here. But I'm still going to do the kind of crisscrossy brush strokes. Just soften it with a little white. And when you dip in the paint, just wipe it a little. Lightly. It's gonna give it more texture. It's gonna soften it up. But don't cover everything. Just lightly, light. I sort of build it up. Very light at first, and then after a few more brush strokes, it gets even lighter. And this kind of style of background, very versatile for any other subject you might want to paint in the future. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I wish I could paint a beautiful sunflower picture, but I don't know what I should do in the background. Do this crisscrossy background with like lovely blues, light blues, greens to kind of mimic sky or foliage. And then you just paint your beautiful sunflowers on top of that. Lots of visible brush strokes. I call that like a painterly look with visible brush strokes. Yeah, to any degree that you want. You could go really wild with the white and really lighten everything up, or just here and there. I'm going to go for more of a medium coverage. Keep in mind the background is not the focal point. That's why it's called the background. Sometimes I like to pick up my painting, hold it away from my body as far as I can go, and have a little look. Does it seem balanced, color-wise, texture-wise? Flip it over. Look at it at this angle. Does it still seem balanced? I think so. It's upside down now, but who can tell? Who can tell? Because it's all the same brush strokes. Now, let's say you accidentally added too much white and it's too white now. Do the opposite. Throw a little bit more yellow in, throw a little bit more pink in. You can kind of teeter back and forth between too much and too little and add some more and take away it with the white again. Oh, splash of yellow here. A little yellow. If your favorite color out of all the colors was the pink and you want it to be more pinkish, throw some more in wherever you want. Anything goes. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I mean, it's never going to look exactly the same as this one. Yours at home is never going to look exactly the same as mine. And that's perfect. We want your personality, your artistic style to come out in your painting. So I'm not looking for who can copy my painting the best. No, I don't want carbon copies. I want your version of this. Okay, yeah, I can just kind of smudge my brush and just get rid of all Whatever paint's left, just smudge it in there. Yep. Double check for any like thick globbies. Maybe look at your painting at an angle, like from the side. See if there's any thick bits. Smooth those out. We want this to dry. Where's my pot lid so I can like fan it? Where in the world did I? Oh, here it is. Fan it. There we go. Double usage from this pot lid. Or anything else handy. Because we've done it nice and thin, this will dry in literal minutes. Minutes. I'm going to give this guy a good wash. If you're done your background and you haven't yet grabbed a circle shape of some kind, pot lid, plate, maybe you have round placemats, whatever you do choose, be aware you might get a little paint on this. Like I might get a little paint on my pot lid. So don't choose like your favorite, Chinaware. Don't choose that. But after I trace this, if there's some paint on it, I could just wash it, wipe it off. It's not ruined. Fan it. Where's my little card? Fan it. Sometimes people even like pick this up and fan it like this. I don't know if that's effective. I think this is a little more effective. All right, let's see the chat here. Leanne said it's their third time painting with me. Awesome. Yeah, we were here on YouTube Live 2 weeks ago. We did the Fall Fun Butts. That's over. Where is it? It's behind here. Over there, Fall Fun Butts. That was 2 weeks ago. So if you like the look of that cute squirrels in a leaf pile painting, that is available on our YouTube channel right now. Free event. Already posted. You could do that right after this one. And I did kind of the same effect in like the sky. If the sky is blue in the squirrels there, but same kind of crisscrossy. What else? Oh, we did some llamas recently. There's also with the crisscrossing. Now this was a paid tutorial. It's available on our website. Llama with a latte, but same type of background. And this beautiful textured llama with a latte. Video recording is available on our website, artistpaletteroom.com. If you're enjoying this style, if you're enjoying my style of hosting, check it out. How are we doing? A little tacky, a couple more minutes. What else can I show you? While we have time, I might as well show you some upcoming events with me, some paid, some free. Might as well while we have time. So next Thursday, what's the date there? The 6th, October 6th. Oh man, it's already October. We're going to do some watercolor. So this will be on Zoom. This is a paid ticket event on Zoom. It's a cat in watercolor. Cat on a crisp afternoon. So if you are enjoying my hosting style and you maybe want to try some watercolors, very beginner friendly. This one actually comes with an outline of the cat. So you can trace the outline beforehand and then we'll do all the rest together. Tickets on the website. The next event after that is a free event here on YouTube Live. Ain't nobody here but us chickens. So this one's October 13th, right here on YouTube Live with me, watercolor plus pen. Watercolor plus pen. So join me for that one free right here. And then after that, I kind of go into like phases. So right now I'm kind of finishing up my acrylic phase. We're going into October and I went back to my watercolor phase. I'm kind of weird that way. This one's coming up in October. A ticket event, tickets on our website, October 20th. Wicked Heels. It is again watercolor and pen. And we'll do this completely freehand together. You'll draw this and then fill it in with watercolor. Tickets on the website. And I'll show you one more for October. Something a little different. Here it is. A pen drawing. Haunted Homestead. Tickets on the website, a paid event on Zoom. And that's October 27th, so right before Halloween. All pen, and you're going to draw it with me. No outline necessary. And it's my scribble style. If you look closely, everything's kind of scribbly, even the blackened windows. And you can learn how to draw this with me live in a Zoom event. So the Zoom events are great because you have the ability to show me your work as you go along and get tips. And you have, it's like a smaller class size, so you have more of my attention. I can answer questions all along the way. And then you also get a full recording of that tutorial to keep forever. So even if you can't make the live Zoom event, you can watch it the next day or whenever, but you keep that tutorial forever. With all of our ticket events on Zoom, you get the recording included. Leanne says it would be cute in acrylic. Yeah, pretty much any of the ones that I just showed, you could do it in acrylic. Even like with the pen drawing, you could do the pen drawing and then fill it in acrylics with colors. It doesn't have to remain black and white. That's true. Yeah, the cat would be good with acrylics. Just kind of follow along and adapt to the acrylics instead of watercolor. I mean, getting there. I think mine's like a little tacky, but definitely workable. We're going to be doing our sketch of the bicycle on the background. Even if, let's say, a little of the yellow or white blends into like the sketch, it will be okay. It will be fine. But if yours is much, much wetter than mine, just hit pause, take a little 5-minute break, let it dry some more, and then rejoin us. I mentioned earlier, you could do your sketch with a pencil, and I've got like a Halloween pencil, if you want, or really any drawing implement. Let's say you have a pencil crayon nearby, colored pencil. You could do a sketch in pencil crayon. I'm going to do my sketch in paint with a thin brush because I want to. Now, what color do I want to do that sketch in? I'm thinking like orange because it kind of goes with the background, goes with kind of the pumpkin, the bicycle. So if a little bit of the orange of the sketch is a little visible later on, it'll still kind of blend in. I wouldn't do my sketch in, say, blue. If I did a sketch in blue, it would kind of stick out like a sore thumb if a little bit was visible or it kind of showed through the white, let's say. So I think orange would be a good sketch color. I'm going to get my brush wet. A little bit of red with yellow makes orange. A lot more yellow compared to the red. A little bit of orange here. I might, like this would be a good orange at home, painting at home. I'm going to make mine a little bit darker so that the camera can see it a little better. So I'm going to make it darker than I would if I was painting like on my own. Okay, a little orange. Orange. So where is that pot lid gone? Come back here. Pot lid. We want a nice big tire wheel. I do want like a little bit of space at the bottom. I don't want it directly on the bottom. And I do want the wheel to be centered like left, right. So left side, right side in the center. Not too far this way, not too far this way. Here. Now it's easier to trace this flat on the table. So if you're struggling to, you know, hold this and put your canvas flat on the table. I'm just going to gamely struggle. Okay, so here we want room up above for the seat, the pumpkin. And we want a little bit of room down below. Okay, how can I hold this? Okay, that's good. This does not have to be a perfect line. It's a sketch, so the line could be sketchy. Going around. Pencil might be your best bet. Okay. Mine is thick, thin, dark, light, wiggly. Didn't even finish this part. This part's missing. There we go. Just a sense of a circle. Look at that. It is not a perfect circle in the least. Look at this. Thick, thin. What's going on over here? It's all good. It's all G. Beauty. Lovely. That's all we need to do for that. Let's put this, let me wipe this off a little bit. Wipe it on my bed sheet here. There we go. Over there. Okay. Guesstimate where the middle of your circle is. So let's have a little better look here. Maybe like here. Boop. I mean, you could measure it. I don't think I'm that far off. Boop, boop. That looks pretty good. Find the middle. Dot. As best you can. We're going to start building our bike frame. So I have this, let's kind of point with this. I have this crossbar here that goes to where the pedal, the gear is all attached there. So straight horizontal beyond the circle. To there. Depending on maybe how big your circle is, maybe your circle is a little smaller, so maybe you'll have more of this area to work with. So this is kind of this piece of metal is kind of going up at a 45. Barely visible here because I ran out of room, but a little bit here. All right, I want, so from this joint, this point here, I'm going to go up here to where our bicycle seat will be up here. So what angle is that? It is kind of 45-ish degrees, maybe 50, maybe 60, who knows? So maybe this line doesn't have to be perfectly perfect. Ooh, maybe get your paintbrush. You can hold your paintbrush right here, and that'll help you make a straight line. And all bicycles are designed different. So, you know, if yours is more of a shallow angle, more of an upright angle, I'm sure there's a bicycle that exists that looks like that. You're painting your bicycle in your world. Okay, so. And it's okay if it's a little bit thick, a little bit thin. We're going to paint over this too. The pumpkin is resting on like a cross beam here, like where you would you know, bungee cord your basket onto or whatnot. So that's coming from here straight out. This is just a sketch. It can be messy. But yeah, this should be as horizontal as you can get it. Also this, as horizontal level. Think about this and this should line up level. Pumpkin's going to be here. Bike seat over here. Maybe you have less room to work with because maybe you have a smaller canvas. Just make a smaller pumpkin. Maybe something different altogether. A basket of gourds. Basket of apples, fresh picked apples. Okay, so where do I want my pumpkin? Quite big, right here. It could be like a narrow pumpkin, more of a squatty, flat pumpkin, misshapen pumpkin. This one's kind of lumpy. Just a rough idea where it's going to be. You can always kind of smooth it out later when we actually fill it in. Let's get a little bicycle seat over here. So mine is the shape of a, I don't know, not like a bean. No, not quite like a bean. Kind of bigger on one end, and then it goes narrow, right? The bit that goes between your legs is thinner. If you have the room, you could make like a banana seat. Do you remember those? I had a banana seat bike. Strawberry shortcake banana seat bike. It was amazing. And we put spokey dokies on the spokes. You know what I'm talking about? Those beads, spokey dokies. Someone knows what I mean. All right, there's a seat. It could be shorter, thicker, taller, any kind of bicycle seat you come up with. A couple other things we could throw in here. There's a kind of a support beam here to kind of here. So it kind of makes a triangle right here. But you do you. Maybe you have, maybe your seat is lower, maybe it's more that way. Some kind of support beam from here to this, anywhere, maybe like here. For extra support. We'll put a little more in our sketch here. Way over here, another kind of support beam is starting here and then going off on an angle, off and up. It could be straight. Could be a straight cross beam here. Or kind of like the upward. Goes this way and then starts to go up. And then you don't see the rest of it. The handles. It's funny, I have a lot of bike tutorials, but they're always half a bike. I have ones with the front half of a bike with a basket. Never the whole bike. All right. I mean, we're not going to sketch, say, the individual leaves, the individual spokes. All that stuff we can do when we like actually do it, such as like the pedal. We can just actually do the pedal in black. We don't need to sketch it beforehand. This is all we really need. That's the whole thing, the whole sketch. If you need to hit pause on this screen and finish up your sketch, you can do that. but it doesn't need to be perfect. We're going to cover it up now. Cover the whole thing up. Yeah, I'll probably do a lot of my bicycle work with this kind of medium. Was that like 1/2 inch? It's flat, but you could be using a round brush too. That's fine. Think about what colors you want on your bike. It doesn't have to be the colors that I do. Not at all. Not at all. Let's have a little look. We'll have a little closer look as you're finishing your sketch. So, like, look at the wheel. It is not perfectly round at all. Look at lumpy, thick, thin, wibbly. Like, look at that. Wonky. Look at that. Wiggly, 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 wiggly. So if you have like a bit of a shaky hand, unsteady hand, that'll help with this particular style. From a distance, it looks great. It's only when you get up close that you're like, oh, that's not straight. But that's the style. That is a choice. And we add like kind of squiggly weird things, squiggly weird things, squiggly, squiggly weird things. All choices that I made. Uh-oh. We're losing our easel. There we go. Back in business. All right, so sketch is done. We've done it very light, very wispy. It is bone dry already. Like the last little bit I added. Perfect. Beauty. If your sketch is still a little damp, just wait a few minutes. Hit pause. I think I will do my bicycle frame, so the yellow part of my bicycle first. Here's my yellow. Now, if I just took straight yellow right out of the bottle, right on here, it wouldn't cover very well. You'd see through it and see the orange. I almost always like to add white into my yellow. So white with yellow. It's still very yellow, this white plus yellow mix. Very yellow still. But it's going to be more opaque. It's going to cover better. And I might see a little orange through it, but just do a couple layers. Yellow plus white. But you could do this bike frame blue, purple, pink, green. Green would look nice. Green would go with the leaves. Black, a black bike. Do a black bicycle frame. There's so many black bicycles out there. We are going to add black outlines. We're going to add white and black little highlights and shadows and squiggles. So it's okay if the edges are a little wonky, a little wiggly, not perfectly straight, that's okay. Even a little of my orange is going into my yellow a little bit. That's kind of cool. It's kind of giving me like a shading effect for free without doing like any work. If your yellow is still pretty see-through, throw a little more white in there. That might help cover. So I've got my kind of main support of the bike here. I've got that one that's kind of going off on an angle. This one's going off on an angle in yellow. Nothing too thick. Nothing too thick. If you have thick globbies, just kind of smooth them out. That'll dry quicker. And we'll add the black outlines, and that'll help us show, okay, this cross beam is rounded, it's in front of this one. We'll have more definition with the black. Okay, so that's it for the yellow for me. But I'm not quite done with the yellow. I'm gonna turn it into the next color that I want. So I'm not gonna wash my brush yet. I'm gonna make some brown because we don't have brown per se here. Maybe at home you have a tube or a bottle of brown, pre-mixed brown, and you want to use that. You can absolutely, but you should still watch how I make brown, because maybe one day you're making a painting and you don't have brown, and you think back, what did Chris say about brown? And then you'll remember. All right. Yeah, don't spend too much time perfecting that. The outlines are going to tidy it up. Well, squiggly outlines. So I have some yellow. I want to make brown. I do have some orange here from before, but if you don't have any orange left from before, make some orange. So a little red with yellow. A lot of yellow. Make some orange. There are many ways to make brown. This is just one of the ways to make brown. So I've got some lovely orange. And think to yourself, Halloween colors. What are the two Halloween colors? Black and orange. That makes brown. Black plus orange makes some brown. So I get a little bit of black, because the black is very strong. Get a little black into my orange. And you see it kind of brownifying. It kind of is like a baby poop kind of brown. It's not like a chocolate brown. It's not rich like that. It's kind of a poopy brown. And you can add a little more red, kind of warm it up a little. If it's like too light, you can add a little more black. But really any brown. You don't have to have the same exact shade of brown I do. What if you want more of a tan color, a little lighter brown? You could throw in a little white. A little white would be nice in there too. I'm just going to leave it kind of like this. I'm not sure the camera really shows the true color that like I'm looking at with my eyes. So I'm going to do a brown tire wheel and a brown, maybe it's a leather seat, maybe this is a fancy bike, but really you could do your tire blue, black, gray, rainbow colored tire. I do have a tutorial like that, rainbow colored tires. Ride the rainbow, it's called. But I'm gonna do brown just because I want to. I just added a little more black to my, I think, yeah, that's good. I added a little more black in it to make it a little darker. But really any shade. Let's get a little test. That's a good brown. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to do a strip of brown. I'm covering the orange a little bit. I'm going kind of on the inside of the orange line. Here's the orange line. I'm on the inside of it. And again, it's not super thick. It's spread nice and smooth and even, so it'll dry quickly. Again, your edges aren't your concern really. If the edges are a little bit wispy or a little bit wobbly, that's okay. We're going to have very distracting black lines. And then when you get to like the bicycle frame, you have to skip over that, right? Because the bicycle frame is in front of the tire. It just makes sense. Mine's not perfectly even. This is a little thin here, gets a little thick there. Don't stress. Go nice and thin, no thick globbies. And there's bits that seem a little lighter, seem a little darker. That's okay. I feel like a bicycle tire in real life would have parts that are a little worn more than others, or a little scuff mark from when you hit a curb or something. It would have natural little variances. Hello in Italy to Melly. That's awesome. Welcome, Shirley. Thanks for joining. All right, there's my tire. Yeah, it looks kind of fat here. Don't worry about it. I'm going to do my seat, my bicycle seat as well. Nice and smooth and even, no thick globbies. Yeah, that's good. And like, if I'm looking carefully, I can see a little bit of my sketch. Ooh, it's peeking out there. There's going to be distracting lines. And no one's going to say, oh, I can see some of your sketch in your painting. That would be ridiculous if someone pointed that out. Okay, I think that's it. That's it for the brown. I will wash my brush. I'm going to wash it right now. There we go. We won't need brown in the next color that we're using, so give it a wash. Let's see. Meg said that they went back and did the top layer of white in the background in one direction. I see. Yeah. Like just all diagonal. Love it. To me, that gives it maybe a sense of movement, motion, like a motion blur, or even a sense of maybe it's raining with that diagonal. I like it. And it's what you like, what makes it look right in your eyes. So good solution. The crisscross background is not for everyone. So I did wash out my brush. Let's do a beautiful orange pumpkin. before we do, say, like the white wall of our bike tire, because we'll let the brown dry a little bit. Big, beautiful orange pumpkin. Pumpkins come in so many different colors. White, cream, green, speckly, anything you want. What if you want to do it as a jack-o'-lantern, like an already carved pumpkin? Maybe you're biking over to your friend's house on Halloween Eve. You know, it doesn't have to be that you're just coming home from the patch. You could have already carved it. Orange, I'm going to have to make some more orange, just constantly making orange here. Tiny bit of red with yellow. Red and yellow. Any shade of orange, nice rich dark orange, light orange. Do throw a little white in there too. A little dab of white, throw that in there too. Help it kind of cover up what you have going on here. We don't want it too see-through. All right, let's get a little test here. A little test-a-roo. Is it too light for you? Add a little more red. Is it too dark for you? Add a bit more yellow. I think I'm happy with that shade of orange. Yeah, I like that. So when I'm painting my pumpkin, I like to kind of follow the curvature, the natural curve of the pumpkin with my brush strokes. Curve it, smooth it, go with the flow. If maybe a little of the brown from your bike seat gets into this orange color, that's okay. It's like free shading. Nice and smooth, even, no thick globbies. You can slightly alter the shape, make it a little bit bigger, a little bit rounder as you go. And again, the outside edge doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to outline it with black. It could be a little bit wispy. Mine's a little wispy there, a little lumpy here. That's okay. Yeah, a little bit of brown got in here. The shading has already been started. Nice and even, flat, smooth. Lovely, lovely. We will throw a bit of shading in before the orange dries here, so that's next. I just wiped my brush off. Just wipe it. Don't need to like wash it. Here's a little brown from the brown I was just using, a little brown. We want to kind of shade our pumpkin so that it looks like there's like, you know, sections. You know how pumpkins have these kind of bulbous different sections. So with this brown, right in the wet orange, you start to kind of define a bulgy shape here. And it's gonna like turn a little orangey. It's like an oval on top of your pumpkin. And then with more brown, I'm gonna have some brown on the right side here. And up the left a little bit here too. It's kind of like the lower portion here, the lower portion here. Yeah, nothing too wild there. I might do a little bit more coming up this side. I'm picturing the light source of this painting, maybe the sun, is coming from the top left. So maybe the right side of this pumpkin would be a little bit darker, a little bit browner. So a little bit more brown coming up this side. That's it. That's all. Your pumpkin doesn't have to be symmetrical. Like, I feel like this bulges up more than this one. That's okay. Doesn't have to be symmetrical at all, in the least. What else? I'm going to do a brown stem. Makes sense. Pumpkin stem. It could be, this one's kind of twisty, like a vine. Not all pumpkin stems are like straight up cut. If you want maybe like a lighter color of brown, add a little white. Maybe it's like more dried out, the stem. They get quite light brown, so a little white in there would make a nice stem color. Yeah, mine's kind of trailing off as if maybe it was like ripped off the vine versus like cut. But if you want it more of a straight cut, have it blunt. Yeah, maybe you have more room. If you have more room, you could do like a really twisty, gnarly, cool stem. I think that's nice for now. I am done with the brown. Yes, I'm going to wash this. Give it a little washeroo. Go. We've been going for like over an hour. If you guys need to take like a break, you know, stretch your legs, get a drink, just hit pause at any point. Hit pause, take a little break, feed the dog, feed the cats, whatever needs doing, maybe a load of laundry. All right, let's see the brown here. Okay. Pretty dry, a little tacky. I do want to put the white wall part of my tire in next. If you're worried that you'll get some of the brown into the white, wait a little longer. Or if you're like me and you just don't care, not worried, plain old white, and I'm going to do pretty much what I did before with the brown, just do a layer of white just on the inside of that. And who cares if a little brown gets into the white? It's going to be free shading. Or maybe the tire is just a little scuffed, a little dirty. Plain old white. I mean, you could do any other color, make it fancy. I am absolutely certain there are different color bicycle tires out there. There we go. Nice and thin and even, no thick globbies. There we go. Got a little brown in it, but I'm not too worried. A white wall bicycle tire. Classic. Yeah, Some places my white is a little bit see-through. You can kind of see the background a tiny bit, but just brush on a little bit more. Get that nice white coverage that we want. Tiny bit. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, and you can see like it's not perfect here. It doesn't go right to the edge. I'll add black, it'll cover it up. I might get a lozenge. I think it's time for a lozenge. Boom. Handy dandy little hauls today. What's next? We're going to add our, I want to add the black of the petal and the black of the kind of this brace here. Again, if you need to have some more time, work on some areas, just hit pause. Hit rewind if you want to see something again. All right, so I'm thinking of the black petal and this little bit that goes up to this joint here. Down, and then nice straight black petal. So still using that medium brush. Okay, so here to here. Yeah, I might draw that part first. So here, and down like right to there. So like that. Thicken that a little bit. And a rectangle. A rectangle is a petal. I mean, there are fancy petals out there, but I'm just going with a rectangle. I think that one's a little bit bigger, so I'll make this a little bit bigger. Yep, something like that. It's not perfect. Doesn't have to be. Yeah, we will add some little bits of white to kind of give it a little highlight, to give it a little more character, because it looks very like flat right now. Most of our painting looks pretty darn flat right now. We're at that kind of stage where you might think it's ugly. Every painting has like an ugly stage, even the greatest paintings in the world. But that's because it's not done yet. We need to add the beautiful highlights, the beautiful shadows to make everything pop. Right now it's very like flat, one tone. Here's my brace, kind of where they would attach a basket or whatnot. I mean, I didn't really think about this till after, but this pumpkin is not secured in any way. There's no bungee cords tying it on. I don't think it would last very long on this bike ride home. I think it would fall off immediately. So something to think about if you want to add like bungee or rope or something. Oh, so mine's black. Yours could have been any color in the world. Doesn't have to be black. It could also be perceived as like a fender too. You could strap something onto your fender. Absolutely. We will add a brace. There is a bit of a brace here. It's not just floating on itself. Good, good. Okay. I'm going to give that a little rinse. You know what? Before I fully rinse it, I do want to add a little bit of black underneath the wheel. I do still have, even though I dipped it in the water, I still have some black here. Let's put a little black as like shadow, ground. I kind of do it wispy, like a shadow. If it's not a look that you want, then don't add it. You could do pavement or grass or a road or something down here. I just did kind of the impression of a hint of a shadow. Mine's messy, but from a distance it looks kind of shadowy. It grounds it. It's not floating in the air anymore. Okay. Now I'm going to rinse it. Rinse. Now, how's my pumpkin? Getting there, getting pretty dry. I do want to add some leaves. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves, but you could have more. You could have less leaves. You could have 0 leaves. You could have a different type of leaf. I was going for like pumpkin vine, but if you want to have maybe like grapevine or like maple leaves, oak, yeah, anything. Here we will use for the first time the blue. I have way too much blue here. I should have just put like literally one little dab of blue, but it is what it is. I'm going to make some green, yellow, where am I going to put it? Right there, with a little bit of blue, because blue is quite strong. And I do have a little white in this too. Throw a little white in it so it is a little more opaque, a little softer. There's green. Darken it with more blue. Lighten it with more yellow. But it could be like any shade of green. Now I think the camera makes it look kind of bluer, but it looks a little bit different in real life. Okay. Kind of like a standard leaf shape, but 3 of them put together. Like maybe slightly bigger, and then doop, doop, smaller, bigger leaf shape, boop, boop. Kind of a 3-prong leaf situation. I do want one here, but it's a little down. I'm going to do one out here. Let's say you have like quite a big brush and your canvas is small. Use a small brush. Use a small brush if that's easier for you. So there's kind of like a normal leaf shape, but add like another leaf shape to it. And then you get kind of like something like that. That one's really wide. This one's more narrow. This one's wide. That one's wide. They could be different. They don't all have to be the same. I mean, it's a little tacky. I'll leave that one last. Anywhere anywhere you can fit a leaf. It doesn't have to be in the same places that I have mine. And we will add like curly vines later. That's pretty dry. You could have a leaf overlapping your tire, anywhere. Overlapping the frame, overlapping the seat. Just fluttering off into the breeze, anywhere. I'm going to risk it. Oh yeah. Yeah, my orange is dry enough. I can put a leaf here. Yeah, I've got 4 different shapes and sizes. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. Less is more sometimes. Sometimes more is more. If you want to put maybe, one on the ground that's fallen. Good, good, good. Give that a good wash. I think from here on out, most of my, if not all the rest of the details will be with my small brush, little guy here. Nice and dry, good. Getting there, getting there. That's still wet, that's still wet. We'll start by like outlining and detailing the things that we painted first. So the yellow bike frame is good and dry. We can definitely add all kinds of details to that. Yeah, here's where the painting really takes off. It starts to look way better. All right, little brush. I'm going to do black outlines of my yellow bike frame. Here's some black. I like to add several brush loads of water to make my black a little liquidier, smoother, but not super duper runny like watercolors, let's say. Just a little bit more fluid. And with my brush, I like to turn. I'm turning my brush in the paint, and it helps my brush bristles like kind of stick together, come back together in a point. Because some of my brushes are very like flayed and spread out. Turning your brush in the paint just helps them come back together. Now, I said it before, I'll say it again. The outlines can be messy. They could be thick in places, thin. There could be breaks in lines. There could be gaps. Sometimes I'm not even on where I'm supposed to be. Like, let's say right here, this black outline of this green leaf, it isn't even touching the green. Some of the background is showing. And here's a gap. Here's a bit where it goes off the leaf itself. So it's like just a fun, squiggly, gestural outline of things. Let's bring this a little closer. Look at that line. It's thick, it's thin, it's wibbly, but I'm not panicked. I'm not ashamed of it. It is what it is. It is my style of art. A little water helps with the kind of spreadability. This one's kind of rounded. And then this one's kind of like behind it, you could say. Now, if I was working on this like flat on the table, I think I would have slightly steadier lines. But I'm okay with these wiggly lines. So if you are trying to get a little bit more straighter, put it flat down. And there it is. There's my outlined bike frame. Nothing too wild yet. I will add a little bolt, nut, I don't know, the end of something, some kind of fastener. Okay. And I have these fun squiggly, where is it? Here's a squiggle. Here's a squiggle. Here, here, here. Just for like maybe the implied shadow or shading, or just fun. Meh. Thicker, thinner, doesn't matter. Maybe I'll do all the way along here. Maybe a little here. And you also see kind of throughout all these extra lines kind of around the object itself. These out here, here, just fun little flicks. Can even be on the bike itself. There's one there. There's one there. On the outside. We will add a little bit of white, but we're kind of going to do all these black on like everything. So my wheel, yeah, my wheel's pretty darn dry. So I'm going to outline the brown and around again, and then also the white. So we have to go kind of around 3 times for the wheel, the brown and the white outlined. go, a little bit more. You absolutely can go much more slower, carefuler than me. Got the brown outlined, the white. There's gaps, there's thick bits. That's okay. Okay, I'm thinking spokes. All the spokes have to converge to this middle point. And they could be thicker, thinner, wispy, like half a spoke. It doesn't have to be like a full line. Just wisp it. Wisp. A little bit of water on your brush, a little bit of water in with the black. So maybe start with like the cardinal directions, like, you know, north, south, west, while east is kind of hidden. And look, that's not even a full, it doesn't even go fully all the way. We're dividing it up like a pie. Yeah. I'm not too mad at that. There's shorter ones, longer ones, very wispy. And then the gears, just the impression of gears with a lot of concentric circles, all, you know, radiating from this middle. That's the middle of everything. So wispy circles sort of around that middle point. The impression of the gears, and I'm imagining the gears are like on the other side. Yeah, it's not perfectly perfect. That's all right. So that's like the gears that are there, but it connects to some gears that are attached to the petals themselves. So we need more of these kind of circles, but behind this joint here. So this one's a little trickier because there's more stuff in the way. So we have to wisp some circles in all these little gaps. Right back in there, behind there. Nothing too fancy, just the impression that something's over there. And then my chain is just like a squiggly, wiggly line. So I'm having it come from out here, coming in narrower. But it could go from the outer to the outer if we're on that gear. And this is all on like the other side of the bike, so you have to kind of skip over the tire. impression of a chain, just a squiggly, swirly, dark thing. Bring that a little closer. Just a messy, swirly line. I made little teeny tiny swirly circles. And let's zhuzh up my tire with some little squiggles like this. We can have little squiggly outlines on the outside, on the white. Anywhere on the outer side here, on the brown even. Let's say you got a little bit of the brown onto the white and you want to disguise that a little bit. You know, put a line there, put a squiggle there to disguise it and hide it. Yeah, just a few little wiggles, little squiggles, little lines. I think it gives it like a little sense of movement too. Maybe it's in motion. Where else? Maybe down, but here, here. Okay. More black lines. So I'm going to do the seat. Outline the seat. Simple. Simple seat outline. I mean, we don't have to outline the pedal, but we can still add some little lines of black around the pedal. Little lines, a couple lines and a couple around the bike seat. A couple of squiggles. I do have some squiggles on the bike seat. It's pretty dark, but there's some squiggles in there. Couple squiggles to your liking, and then the pumpkin, outline those different sections of the pumpkin. Good. Some squiggles, and I focus my pumpkin squiggles near the bottom because that's maybe where it's darker, shaded. Outline my stem a little bit. A couple of little flicks around my pumpkin. Go with the flow. Go with the curve of those sections. Do I want to do green? next, maybe I'm going to continue with the black around the leaves, and then maybe we'll get into some stem, some vine green. Let's do these leaves. So quick little leaf outline. And again, it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up to the leaf. This line is slightly in. This line got a little bit out. Leaf outlines, and then I put like the hint of the veins of the leaf. So just like 3 lines, boom, boom, boom. Hinting at veins. You could add more veins. They don't even have to like be attached. They can just be like kind of loose on their own, like that. Doesn't have to be attached. And a few little gestural little flicks, lines. They're fluttering in the wind. That's looking good. Give that a little rinse. Let's do, I'm thinking we'll do the white, bits of white here and there before we get into, say, the like tendrils. White highlights, important. Clean your brush thoroughly. We don't want gray highlights, we want white. Okay, a little bit of white. So again, you can add a little water so it's a little bit more fluid. Easier to spread, flow off your paintbrush. And again, I'm twirling my brush in the white so that it kind of comes back together to a point. Let's look at where I have some white. I have little flicks of white on my frame. Little white there, little white there. Little bits on some black portions. Kind of emphasize those kind of fasteners there. Little bits of white on the tire. Little streaks here and there. Seat. A little bit on the seat. A little bit of streaks of white on the pumpkin. Stem. A little bit on the leaves. Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to start with maybe some on the tire. So if I'm thinking the sunlight is coming from up here, maybe some white is hitting the tire right along here. Or here. Right in there. And then if the light is hitting the bicycle frame, maybe right on this side, the left of the frame. The top of the crossbeam. Just little hints of white here and there. I'll put a little on this little screw or what have you. This one too. A little on the pedal shaft. I don't know what this part's called. And then the pedal itself. Look how messy. It's not a rectangle. It's wonky. Seat, a little stroke on the seat, a little flick of the wrist. I mean, I could put some on here. I do have a little bit there. On that thing, a little on the leaves, just like a flick, 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 flick. It's starting to kind of pop with that, just a little bit of white. Surprising. Let's make our pumpkin seem shinier. I don't know. Glossy, maybe? You can have more than me, less. A little on the stem. A little more. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Now I did put like the tiniest, teeny tiniest bit of orange on my yellow bicycle frame. I do have a little orange from my sketch, but I could put some more orange in there. So let's say your bicycle is green, blue. Just choose a different shade that's a little darker. So I've got some darker orange here, and just flick a little of that on your bike, just to give it a little more interest. That's it. Just like 5 streaks is what I added on the bicycle. A little bit, little bit, little bit. Just extra interest. Ooh, what if I added a little reddish orange? Ooh, yeah. A little reddish orange on my pumpkin. Or a little yellow. What if I got a little yellow? Where's my yellow? A little yellow. Ooh, yeah. Throw a couple streaks of yellow on your pumpkin. Extra depth. Ooh. Yes. Good, good. Okay, so I want to do some green curlicue vines, and then also I'll do them in black too, just to emphasize them a little bit more. So if you have some green from before, it's good, or mix up a new shade of green. The green doesn't have to be the same as the leaf green. These are the tendrils, little vine curlicues. So I put some water on my brush, mix it with the green so it's much more fluid and easily spreadable. It's going to flow off your brush better. So it could be, you know, like that, like a pig's tail curlicues. Or they could be like a squiggle, like back and forth squiggle. Anything, either. Anywhere. I do have some that kind of lead to a leaf to give the leaf kind of like a stem. You decide where and how many. You could have a lot less or more than me. I've got some coming out here, here's some here, here, sprouting up the top. They don't all have to be green. What about brown? What about yellow, light green? Give that a little rinse. One thing I haven't put in yet is that black support. So let's get that in there before we forget, because this needs some support. So from maybe here to back to that same joint. Boom. There you go, supported. There we go. Yeah, here to here. Strengthens it. There's strength in triangles. Triangle, triangle. Sturdy. And then I'll just take my black, thin brush. And when I'm doing my black on the green, I'm not going like directly on top of it. I'm going like slightly to the side. So you can still see all those lovely twists and turns. And it takes practice. Just because I'm whipping them on there doesn't mean you have to do it as fast as me. All it takes is practice over time. Think about what other details you could add to this painting. You could add, I mentioned before, like a jack-o'-lantern face, spokey dokies, put some little beads on your spokes. What about leaves on the ground, leaves in the air? Oh, do we have a special guest? Where are you? This is Max. Oh, big stretch. Max is 10 years old. We're almost done, Maxie, and then we can play. Watch your body. Okay, sit down. Sit. Sit. Mm-hmm. No, put your tail down. No. Don't. Go on. Boop. What else could we add? Maybe it is raining. You want to add some rain. Kind of a wet fall day. What about a bug? A little ladybug, a little caterpillar, a little beetle on a leaf. A little woolly bear caterpillar, those little brown and black ones. Those are so cute. A little bird perched on your bike seat. You could do that. A water bottle onto your bike. Maybe your bike has a water bottle. Anything at all. Maybe put some mud purposely on the white part of your tire because you're in the pumpkin patch. It would get muddy, I think. I think so. A pair of gloves sitting on the bike seat because you are using gloves in the pumpkin patch. And then I'm going to sign it. So you could sign it anywhere. You could sign it any color. I'm going to do some green. I mean, I wouldn't sign this in, say, purple. There's no purple in this painting. I'd sign it in a color that's already in your painting. So I just do the old initials in the corner. You could put the year. You could put your whole autograph. I love when kids put their age. Chris, age 5, or whatnot. There we go. So yeah, not exactly the same as that one, but very close. Yours at home is going to be different too. Yeah, I would love to see the results of your paintings. We have a Facebook group, Artist Palette Painting/Drawing Support Group. Please feel free to join it if you haven't already joined it. Share your paintings, share other paintings you've done with us, or maybe some of your original art. You can ask questions, get tips. We're a very supportive little Facebook group, right, Max? Right? You look grumpy. What else can I tell you? Any other questions here too? Let me just scroll through. People from everywhere. Oh, back to Debbie's original question of a tip. I do have the tip link in the description below. If you enjoyed this session, I also want to say thank you to those who sent me a tip in advance. That's great. I really appreciate that. Of course, your tips go towards more art supplies so I can put out more free content for you guys. And feed him. Any questions for me? Type them in the chat, or if you think of a question later, you can add it in the Facebook group. Email us, direct message us with any questions too. We made a good time, guys. That was like, yeah, it was like 2 hours. I always kind of aim for a 2-hour tutorial. I'm not seeing any questions. All right, I look forward to painting with you again. The next free on YouTube Live will be Ain't Nobody Here But Us Chickens in October. Bust out your watercolors and your pens, and we'll do that one together. No more questions? No questions. All righty. Have a lovely evening, guys. Thanks for joining me. Happy painting. Bye now.